Hello my friends, and welcome back to the rabbit hole. Today's video is going to be a review of Youth to the People. I have to be honest with you guys, I am a little nervous about this video. You guys know what I do. I've been testing these products for the past 2 weeks, and I overall have a lot of really good things to say about this brand. But I think I'm gonna do what I always do. I'm gonna try my hardest to help you figure out if this brand and if these products are for you, and I have some ways of saying it might not be for you, I guess. So let me start off this video with a general overview of the brand Youth to the People. So this brand was founded in 2015, quite a younger brand. They're located in California and all of their products are made in California. There's a huge focus on sustainability with this brand, which you guys know I love. Everything is packaged in glass bottles, which makes it very easy to recycle. The entire brand is vegan, they are cruelty-free, and appear on lists from Cruelty-Free Kitty as well as Logical Harmony, which, if I understand correctly, is kind of top tier of cruelty-free. They are also quite the clean brand and have even taken it to the next level. These products are all silicone-free, which might not matter to a lot of you, but I have had people ask me, hey, what are some silicone-free skincare products I could use? And I often don't know the answer. And taken together, I would say this brand is really filling a much needed niche. You know, even if you are able to find products that fit those standards, it's often very hard to get them. They're inaccessible, but these are all carried on the Sephora website, so it's certainly a lot of good things about this brand. But as far as cons with this brand, I'm just gonna be upfront with you. I really think there's only one big con with this brand, and yet it is potentially a very big con, and that is that the words natural fragrance appear in the ingredients list on quite a few products. Not all, but quite a few. And we do have to have an honest conversation about this phrase, natural fragrance. Now, if you are fine with this because what matters most to you is whether your products are of a more natural origin, that is fine. This may be perfect for you, no problems whatsoever. On the other hand, if the reason why fragrance is a concern for you is allergy-based, then please know that whether that fragrance is of a supposed chemical or natural origin, you still get the same end effect. And furthermore, as I have pointed out in many of my past videos, you could actually potentially have worse allergies from natural fragrance than from fragrance if your allergy is something that just occurs in nature. I know that this can be a very difficult topic, but people are allergic to things like pollen, like cats, and it's just unfortunate, but it's the reality of things. And if that is the case, you might want to approach this brand with a little more caution. I have a bit of a history with natural fragrance, as some of you know. Whether we're talking about Burt's Bees, whether we're talking about Derma E, things have gone wrong for me, not because those brands are inherently bad, but because I seem to have some type of an allergy to something hidden within that word natural fragrance. It's just been very consistent, and yes, if I'm being honest with you, when I tried products from Youth to the People that contained natural fragrance, the same thing happened. Now again, and this is why I get so nervous with this type of video, this is not me saying that these products are bad. This is me saying, hey, I ran into some issues because of my allergies, and if you too have allergies, you might want to be aware of this. Now you might just be sitting there going, hold on, your face doesn't look that bad. Right, because we've been through this so many times that I have figured out what to do rather quickly, isolated the issue, removed those products specifically from where I break out, and just used them on my forehead and my neck. It's a little thing called a reverse T-zone, and I have it. Please don't look it up. It's usually, but not always, associated with being significantly older. Look at my confidence falling. Okay, let's go ahead and get into these product reviews. I'm going to take you guys through the skincare routine that I've been following for the past 2 weeks. Actually, we're going to start with the toner. I bought this little Power of Dreams kit in the Sephora sale, and this came with the new toner as well as the sleeping mask. And when it comes to this toner, I have a lot of good things to say. This is one of the products that does not contain any fragrance. The name of this is the Kombucha and 11% AHA Exfoliation Power Toner. I just feel like Youth to the People does everything correctly with this toner. It is a lactic 8% and glycolic 3% toner. They are very transparent about this, and by now you guys know I love that transparency. I want so badly to know the percentages of active ingredients in my skincare so that I can get a better understanding of what is really working well for my skin. And with it being higher in lactic than glycolic, it is still surprisingly gentle. Now, Youth to the People recommends using this 3 to 5 times a week, and I totally agree with that. That is definitely the optimal amount in my experience. Anything over that, you could still run into issues of overexfoliation, which I recently talked about. It's a very liquid texture. I will say it's a little bit less sticky than some AHA type of products, but you still do get some amount of stickiness with it. And the ingredients list overall is so beautiful. I feel like the only thing I could really comment on, but not even in a bad way, is that they do use lemon juice in it, assumedly to bring down the pH. I've noticed this is something that a lot of clean brands do. You know, we're told in the skincare community, don't touch lemon juice to your face, and that's very true. You never want to take a lemon and put it on your face, but when it's properly formulated into a formula, all it should be doing is bringing down the pH, which of course makes the AHAs able to do their job. So it's win-win all the way around. As you can guess from the name, it does of course contain kombucha, which I've already had success with in the past from Fresh's kombucha essence. So I knew that was an ingredient that my skin really likes. This is definitely something that I can see myself repurchasing. So now that you hopefully know I don't hate the brand, let's talk about the Kale and Green Tea Spinach Vitamins Superfood Cleanser, their #1 seller. I think the best way for me to explain this product is actually to take you back through what I'd heard about this product before I tried it. So speaking of that Sephora spring sale, I was watching all of the hauls come in, and this is probably just perception, but I felt like at least 50% of the Sephora spring hauls that I was seeing had the full size of the Youth to the People face cleanser in them, and people were just raving about them. They're like, this is my holy grail, I can't use anything else, best product I've ever found in my life. I read this so many times that I think what happened to me is I had this really, really astronomically high expectation of this product. So much so that on day 1 of this trial, I remember being in the bathroom, opening this up, and going, I don't know if I'm ready for my life to be changed this much. After, 2 weeks of using this, what I'll tell you is I think it's a very good cleanser, but it didn't change my life. And that's the problem of having this incredibly high expectation of a product when something is so hyped up that you are so convinced it's going to be everything you've ever needed in life. It's a very hard precedent to set for any product. A couple more notes on my experience with this. So I typically use a micellar water in the morning, and then at night I double cleanse, right? So I was doing that with this for the first couple of days, and I double cleanse, use my oil-based cleanser, follow with this cleanser, and I was left going, wow, this is a really good cleanser that is not drying in the slightest bit. But I always feel to do a proper review, I have to try at least, one morning with the cleanser just on its own, and so I did that. I did that a couple times, actually. And consistently, when I did that, I felt like it was a little more drying. I think the bottom line here is I do think it is significantly less drying than most cleansers I've tried, but if you have really dry skin, I would still point you towards a cream cleanser. I think those are made for dry skin, whereas any gel type of cleanser like this usually is, by its nature, a little more drying. But still, it really is a beautiful ingredients list loaded with antioxidant ingredients. It does contain natural fragrance, and what I'll tell you with this is a lot of people find that they're able to use fragrance in their cleansers because, it's only on your skin for 60 seconds, then you wash it off, assuming those surfactants have attached to the fragrance. You shouldn't have any lingering fragrance on your skin, so everything is fine and dandy. That is probably true for most people, but again, if you have a more severe allergy, that may not be the case for you. And one more thing on this cleanser, I was thinking about how this brand is, mid-range, certainly, a Sephora brand. But I happened to look at the sizes of some of my cleansers in the bathroom, and I realized, this isn't a bad price at all. This is $36 for 8 ounces, whereas my $18 Pixie cleanser is only a little bit over 4 ounces. I feel like I really came to acknowledge how much size I feel like I really came to acknowledge how much the size of your cleanser matters when I was testing that CeraVe acne cleanser. I loved that, but wow, I finished it really quickly. Whereas I'm not using a ton of this, and yet it is still very effectively cleansing. I feel like you could easily get 4 to 6 months out of this. So I guess to wrap up all of my thoughts on this cleanser, yes, I do think it is a good cleanser, but I think that in some ways the amount of hype around it does it a disservice. You know, it's still a cleanser, and for me personally, cleansers don't change my life to the level that serums do, or even essences, those leave-on products. So just some things to note with this, and yet at the end of the day, yeah, I still think it's a good cleanser. Let's move on to talking about these 3 moisturizers next. So only one of these is devoid of fragrance. And absolutely needless to say, yeah, that's gonna be my favorite. This one is the Adaptogen Deep Moisture Cream with ashwagandha and reishi pentapeptide. With this one not having fragrance as a concern, I already finished off one of these. I'm on my second little size. Ooh, this one, I could see myself repurchasing this as well. It gave me such incredibly hydrated skin. It's a little sticky when you first apply it, but it's almost like you kind of have to find the right amount of application with this. You know, you go from these levels of not enough, not enough, not enough, that's okay, perfect, nope, too much. So I guess applied in the correct amount is really a beautiful moisturizer, incredible ingredients list. It actually reminds me a lot of the Dr. Dennis Gross anti-stress line that I reviewed a while ago. It's got a lot of those same adaptogen ingredients, including ashwagandha, rhodiola rosea, fermented ingredients. The peptide in here, they claim fights reactive skin, although I haven't been able to find any independent studies on that one. But overall, really nice product. Again, silicone-free. They're using sunflower oil high up in the ingredients, actually on all of the moisturizers, to give you a little bit of an occlusive feeling. Although overall, I would say, comparing this to other creams, this one does feel a lot less occlusive and a lot more humectant-rich. All of these moisturizers are rich in antioxidants. I guess that actually is one con that I should probably point out with these. When it comes to jar packaging, I'm not the most strictly opposed to it, but it depends on what the ingredients are. You know, how light stable are they? How air sensitive are they? And when it comes to antioxidants, I do think those are better packaged in a tube or a pump. But again, it's a trade-off, and I recognize that and I respect it. You know, if you really want a recyclable product, it's going to have to be in glass, which kind of eliminates those other packaging systems. So, you know, again, something to keep in mind, not necessarily the worst thing ever, but at the very least, I would recommend storing it in a dark place in your bathroom, stored in your bathroom cabinet. Oh, if you have a mini fridge, definitely store it in your mini fridge. That would actually be really smart. Then we have the Kale and Spinach Green Tea Hyaluronic Age Prevention Moisture Cream. I would definitely say this one is a lighter texture, more for oily skin types, but it does contain natural fragrance. It really is a surprisingly floral scent. Is that a hint of citrus that I'm picking up? Is that bergamot? Anyway, if you do have more sensitive skin, you might want to be aware of that. I did finish this off. I didn't finish this off yet, but I used it on my forehead and on my neck, and I have not run into problems in my less reactive areas of my face. But, you know, overall things to note, it is a nice formula. It contains hyaluronic acid. It contains ascorbic. Also very rich in antioxidants. Also would recommend storing it out of light. A little less expensive than the rich cream as well. See, this is why I think that if you have a more oily skin type, you are better off in the long run. It's so expensive to buy these dry skin products. They just cost more in terms of the ingredients used. But, you know, that's just me being jealous of those of you with a more oily skin type. Overall, it's nice. Just watch out for the fragrance and store out of light. And the last product, the sleeping mask that was in the kit. This is the Superberry Hydrate and Glow Dream Mask. So I said the ashwagandha was for dry skin. I said the hyaluronic was for oily skin. I actually think this one is more for normal skin. I know they're calling it a sleeping mask, but to me, it just did not feel like a sleeping mask. I feel like it is certainly a much lighter texture than I expected from a sleeping mask, but not in a bad way, just in a this is something you could wear during the day type of way. First off, I was running into issues because this one does have natural fragrance as well. It doesn't seem quite as strong as the Kale cream, but Yeah, there's definitely fragrance in there. So I did have to, like the other cream, move this only to my forehead and my neck. But overall, there are some things I really like in this formula. It's got THD ascorbate for your vitamin C, which is the oil-soluble form of vitamin C, which makes perfect sense in a product that is so high in sunflower oil. But also, based on where that ingredient is located in the ingredients list and also all of my collective experience with vitamin C, and you guys know I love vitamin C, I don't think it's especially high in vitamin C. Antioxidants, squalane, which is an ingredient that I absolutely love, hyaluronic acid, again, which I also love. But overall, for me, I felt like I wanted an occlusive with this. I was using my Luxme over this, my very occlusive Shea over this, just to kind of get that sensation. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is for an overnight mask, it was a lot lighter than most that I can compare it to, and yet not in a bad way. Again, not a product that I see myself repurchasing, but I also kind of do see the appeal for this. You know, if other sleeping masks have been too much for you, this might be something very much worth trying. So to give you guys some final thoughts, I am really glad that I tried this brand, as the toner in particular really stands out to me. So nice to find such a beautiful, fragrance-free, high in lactic toner. And again, it's so nice to find a brand that really fits a niche, so that if somebody is asking for silicone-free, completely clean, cruelty-free, vegan, real vegan, not oops, we found some animal ingredients in these products, but real vegan. It's very, very nice to find that. But for me personally, just because I do have slightly reactive skin, there's probably not a whole lot that I am going to purchase from this brand. However, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that they, listen to feedback, because this is a bit of a common theme. You see a ton of 5-star reviews from this brand, and then the 1-star reviews of people breaking out. And it often, very often, relates to fragrance, whether of natural or chemical origin. So in my opinion, this toner being one of their newer products, I like their direction and I hope they stick to it. It might get me to try more products from the brand, but I hope you guys did find this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.